Steven Crowder just got surgery, and sometimes life-altering events, such as surgery, can change a person's perspective. He got help from doctors, put his life in their hands. Maybe what he described as a near-death experience gave him a different perspective. After all, if he hadn't had access to healthcare and the best doctors, he would have been in trouble. Maybe some of the fear he experienced helped open his eyes to the plight of other people. No, I'm sorry, I can't actually do this. Of course, none of that happened, obviously. I truly hoped that Steven Crowder would get good healthcare, extend his life, and actually change his mind. But spoilers, that didn't happen. And before this surgery, he's had so many videos about the evils of universal healthcare or single-payer healthcare and Obamacare. Not critiques about it or how it needs to be better, but actually saying it's bad and we shouldn't do it. Specifically, he likes to claim that other countries where you pay less also offer less good healthcare.
Studies show that health service patients are 45% more likely to die in British hospitals than the United States. And I've talked about this many times. Wait times in Canada for hospital beds, they're close to 9 hours. The NHS failed to reach its goal of a 4-hour wait.
The goal?
Yeah. 4-hour wait times in the ERs. What time in the US? It's about 2 hours. So again, don't just look at the one portion of the equation. How much are you spending? What are you getting for that? What is the rest of the world getting from privately funded healthcare?
Hey, neat fact about that study saying more people die in the hospital in Britain. It wasn't peer-reviewed, took information from a very small sample in the US, but most notably, the reason why less Americans are dying in a hospital, if true, wouldn't have to do with hospitals in America being better quality. It actually just means more Americans are dying at home because they can't afford to die in a hospital, which you might recognize as literally the opposite of his point. But yes, he's right that Canada has a wait time problem, especially when it comes to seeing a specialist. But there's an argument that it has more to do with Canada's inability to properly fund programs designed to help, and also the US just has way more specialists. But at the end of the day, Canadians still tend to have a longer life expectancy, specifically for patients with a chronic illness. And that was a direct result of Canadian access to healthcare. Not saying it's perfect up there, what with all the Wolverines running around, but rather that this conversation is way more nuanced than Steven is making it. But of course, he's not actually having that conversation. He's just saying that since Canada has wait times, it means Obamacare is bad. Not that it should be better, just that it's bad and we shouldn't do it.
I happen to be a proponent of a single-payer universal health care plan.
That's cool!
Hey, I know there. That's why I put it in there. That's why I pay.
You guys, you all afraid because of the Care Obama. Okay, in Quebec, we have it for a long time. At work, no problem, okay?
So I go to doctor. I need to get a tetanus shot, là. And I take me peut-être 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. And how you feel after that?
Hey, I feel okay, là. Every once in a while, my jaw get a bit stuck.
Holy Christ, is he doing Borat? Not that it matters, but most Canadians have tetanus boosters because they're free. But if you didn't, you just go to the ER there. And while wait times are long, they still average only a few hours before a doctor would see you. And so he's a liar is my point. I'm getting into the weeds here. Because most of these grifters are so dense or subtly manipulative in their lies that it takes 20 minutes to debunk every minute of what they say. For reference, see all the videos out there debunking these liars and weirdos. Or see Potholer54, also known as Peter Hadfield, a geologist and science journalist who's made several videos meticulously and calmly dismantling Crowder's lies and misleading videos about climate change. Crowder was scheduled to debate Hadfield, but due to scheduling conflicts that Crowder totally couldn't accommodate, they never got to speak about the very clear explanations of Crowder's very obvious lies. Crowder's video about this is now set to private, interesting. Hadfield has also made in-depth videos about PragerU, and specifically climate liar Patrick Moore, who can be seen lying for, Steven Crowder, that's fun. So instead of addressing the outright lies in his articles and videos, he challenges someone to a debate, and in this case, ducks the debate. More on that later. My point is, he seems to lie about things, and specifically doesn't seem to want a system where people can get healthcare free at point of service or be free from medical debt. So I was rooting for him to have an actual change of heart. I'm sure a lot of people can look at these tweets and think they were sarcastic, but I like it when people don't die and are good to other people. That's like My politics. And I know it's stupid and corny and unrealistic apparently, but wouldn't it have been great if Steven Crowder went to a bunch of doctors because he was worried that he was going to die, and they helped him, and he could easily afford it and didn't have to worry about being able to afford it on top of the stress on his mind and body of having to get surgery. It seemed like he was scared, which is fine. It's Shocktober after all. But wouldn't it have been neat, or even swell, if he experienced that and then thought, wait a second, I'm so lucky, and it's possible for a society in the 21st century to make that experience available to everybody. You don't have to be lucky to afford medical help. Wowee, I guess I've changed my mind. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.